Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Saturday, March 9th, 2019, a success. Now the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here where the moon is in Aries. When the moon's in Aries, it brings our attention to doing things, making things happen, especially when it comes to things that are important to us as individuals. Now what we've got going on, the first thing, early this morning while many of us are sleeping, is this moon in Aries is going to make a square over here to Saturn in Capricorn. That can definitely bring some hard feelings, some feelings of restriction or being held back in some way. Like we're trying to do things that we want, that we're passionate about, that we're excited about, but maybe like we got a lot of other things, responsibilities weighing over our shoulders that is making that a little bit difficult. So that could be a little bit frustrating. That's going to sit with us for a few hours. The next alignment that's going to happen is going to be right before lunchtime. Right before lunchtime, this moon in Aries is then going to make a square over here to Pluto and Capricorn. What that can bring then, there's some very strong and intense emotions, not always pretty when Pluto's involved or when there's a square involved. That could be a little bit hard to deal with. Perhaps earlier in the day we were feeling restricted, we were feeling like we had a lot of responsibilities weighing over us. That was very hard, and maybe that continues to bring up some strong emotions as we move throughout the day, some frustration, some fears, some insecurities that can start to come in. However, at the same time that's happening, this moon in Aries is then making a trine over here to Jupiter in Sagittarius. So even if we are feeling frustrated here, there could also be part of us that's starting to see life a little bit differently. Maybe I think there's part of us too. Yeah, I know this is super interesting. With this trine to Jupiter, I think even though we're frustrated, even though we may feel restricted, even though things are hard, I think there may be part of us that's starting to understand things about our life that we didn't understand just days and months before this. I think too there's a lot of passions that are starting to come back in our life that we're starting to sense and starting to feel that we didn't have as well. So I think there's that thing that there's this like duality that's going on in between us, where we realize we have to be serious about our life and our life is changing. That's maybe a little frustrating, a little scary, but we're also very passionate about our life too, and we're having to balance our passions, being excited about life, with practical action and with some other big things going on. I think as well, all this passion too is helping us to understand and get the better perspective on our feelings as well. That could also be happening here, and I think we're having to learn how to do a lot of these things at once, how to be excited about our life and to do it practically, and how to understand some things that have happened in our life for a while at the same time making the necessary changes that we need in order to move forward. Okay, so that's going to happen there. Then the next and last alignment of the day is going to be right before dinner. Right before dinner, this moon in Aries is then going to make a square over here to the nodal axis, with the north node in Cancer and the south node over here in Capricorn. And what that can bring are some big choices that we may have to make whenever a planet squares the nodal axis. These choices are going to be how we want to do things with the moon in Aries, the sign of action, in order to move forward. And what we need to move forward on are things that make us personally and emotionally feel much better and much more at home, okay? And I think after a lot of things have come up earlier in the day, a lot of changes in our life that we're realizing we need to make that are scary to us but exciting at the same time, I think once we let those feelings kind of sit in with us a little bit as we move throughout the day, it helps us to understand what we need to do and how we need to do things in order to move forward. Needing to make choices as well, and needing to not be afraid here to choose the thing that is non-traditional, that's unusual, and that's more personal to you, especially with this north node in Cancer. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be very, very important. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here, yeah, I was like, that's a lot. Making choices to support your emotional well-being. I guess that's the first thing that I want to say, and balancing some of your conflicting desires and passions. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is going to be, maybe I'll go to Mars first. Number 2, Mars is making a sextile over here to Neptune and to the Sun, and is coming into a trine here with Saturn. I really do like this. I think this is giving us an opportunity to change our life for the better, and to change our life in a way that's, even if it is a huge change, that's a little more stable, a little bit more secure, a little bit more directed in some way here. So I think we are, even though things are, maybe may feel a little bit crazy, even though things may feel scary, I think there's another part of us, if we listen to our spirit, if we listen to our soul, and if we listen to our intuition, that knows exactly what we need to do. And it may not make sense what our spirit and soul is telling us to do. It may be different than anything we've ever done before, but I think if you can listen to your spirit and soul, calm your fears, and get excited about your life by put in practical strategies to reach your passions, I think that's really going to help you here. It's not a time to bite off more than you can chew. I think a lot of this here is saying, sure, do something new, change your life in a massive way to be different, better, more exciting, but do it in a practical way, and do it that's based on your heart and your soul and what your heart and soul needs, and not what your logic is telling you, because logic at this time, especially with Mercury going retrograde, could steer you a little bit in the wrong direction. Okay, and I think maybe that's my third point here with Mercury retrograde, needing here to listen to your spirit, to listen to your soul, and to not try to force things to make sense that don't make sense. Now is a time with the North Node in Cancer to go all in on your heart and on your personal needs and desires, even if it takes you away from your career or from other things that you thought you once wanted or needed, all right? So that's what I want to leave you with today. Small practical progress is what's going to help you change your life, turn the ship of your life in a major way. You need to make choices about how you want to do these things moving forward, and you need to listen to your spirit and soul and to not try to rationalize things. That is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.